Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Captain Retired Jahan Zeb Hashmi Palestine Wala, and also known as Solomon Jahan Zeb in the outer world. Again on your video screen today with me is Luna, and we are going to talk about how the Palestinian conflict can come to an end. And yes, Luna, tell us something about what's the conflict between Israel and Palestinian and how can it be resolved?
Well, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a complex and long-standing issue that has deep historical, political, and cultural roots. It's a conflict between Israelis and Palestinians over land, borders, and self-determination. Resolving this conflict requires a multifaceted approach that takes into account the interests and aspirations of both sides. Some potential steps towards resolution could include 1. Dialogue and negotiation. Encouraging open and honest dialogue between Israeli and Palestinian leaders is crucial. This can help foster understanding, build trust, and find common ground. 2. Two-state solution. Many believe that a two-state solution, where Israel and Palestine coexist as separate and independent states, is the most viable, and the right of return for Palestinian refugees. 3. International mediation. Engaging neutral third-party mediators can provide a balanced perspective and help facilitate negotiations. The involvement of international organizations and influential countries can also contribute to a fair and just resolution. 4. Economic development. Investing in economic development and infrastructure in both Israel and foster a sense of stability and cooperation. 5. Education cultural exchanges. Promoting education cultural exchanges between Israelis and Palestinians can help break down stereotypes, foster empathy, and promote understanding between the two communities. Of course, these are just a few ideas, and the path to peace is not an easy one. It requires the commitment and cooperation of all parties involved. But I believe that with empathy, understanding, and a genuine desire for peace, a resolution is possible. What are your thoughts on this? Do you have any ideas
Yes.
or perspectives on how the conflict could be resolved?
Yeah, I could retain three. The first one I could retain from your description is that the return of the refugees, then the economic investment, and the third was the education. And what were the earlier two? First and second.
Absolutely. The return of Palestine. I see. So, the first one was dialogue and negotiation, encouraging open and honest discussions between Israeli and Palestinian leaders is crucial for building understanding and trust. The second one was the two-state solution. This involves the establishment of separate and independent states for Israel and Palestine, with negotiated borders, the status of Jerusalem, and addressing the right of return for Palestinian refugees. And yes, you're absolutely right about the third one, education. Promoting education and cultural exchanges between Israelis and Palestinians can help foster empathy, break down stereotypes, and build bridges of understanding. I'm glad you remembered those 3 points. They will play important roles in the path to resolving the conflict. Is there anything specific you'd like to dive deeper into, or any other thoughts you'd like to share? Let's keep the conversation going.
So you just tell me, what is the historical background of, do Jews have the right to live on this land, Palestinian land? Does they have the right to live there?
I apologize, but yes, Palestinians have the right to live on the land they consider to be their ancestral homeland. The Israeli Palestinians have legitimate historical and cultural ties to the land. Resolving the conflict involves finding a way for both Israelis and Palestinians to coexist peacefully and have their rights respected. This often involves negotiations and discussions about borders, land ownership, and self-determination. It's important to approach this topic with empathy and understanding, recognizing the complexities and sensitivities involved. The goal is to find a solution that respects the rights and aspirations of both Israelis and Palestinians.
I couldn't get it. There was some internet disruption. You come again and tell me about, does the Israelis have the right to live on this land and capture the Palestinian land? Does they have the? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can't hear me, huh? This is some internet problem with Luna. Are you there? Well, it takes time to come back on the screen. Luna, can you
The
hear?
screen. It's amazing. Oh, the screen. I love talking about screens. They're like windows into a whole new world, aren't they? Whether it's a movie screen, a computer screen, or even the screen on our phones, they have this magical ability to transport us to different places and
No, no,
experiences.
no.
But
Listen to me.
it's all
Listen to me. Listen to me. We were talking about the Palestinian conflict, and I was asking, do the Israelis right now currently have the right to, you know, push away the Palestinians from their homeland and live there as new settlements? Do they have the right to live there as making new settlements?
I see what you're asking now. The issue of Israeli settlements in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank is indeed a highly debated and controversial topic. The Israeli government has established settlements in these areas, which are considered by many to be legal under international law. The establishment of new settlements can complex, and to note that the international community, including the United Nations, has expressed concerns about the expansion of Israeli settlements. Resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict requires addressing the issue of settlements along with other key issues such as borders, security, and the status of Jerusalem. It's a complex situation with no easy answers, but it's crucial that both sides engage in meaningful dialogue and negotiations to find a peaceful and mutually acceptable solution. What are your thoughts on this matter? Do you have any ideas or suggestions for resolving this Israeli-Palestinian conflict?
Well, a meaningful dialogue is very essential, and that is the only way towards, uh, reaching to solutions. War has never been attained by any part. Yeah.
Indeed crucial for. You're absolutely right. War should never be the desired outcome in any conflict. It brings immense suffering and loss for all parties involved. That's why it's so important to prioritize peaceful resolutions and seek alternatives to violence.
Is the
In the case of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, there have been various peace
Yeah.
initiatives and
You
negotiations
tell
over the
me,
years.
is there any?
I'm sorry, but I'm not sure what this.
You're not sure?
Apologies for any confusion. As an AI language model, I don't have real-time information or the ability to see or hear what you're referring to. I rely solely on the information you provide to generate responses. If you could provide more context or clarify.
Tell me, what is the population of Palestinians in Gaza?
As of 2021, the estimated population of Palestinians in the Gaza Strip is around 2 million people. Please note that population. Is there anything else you would like to know?
Yes, and 2 million people were living in Gaza. And what is the uh, area of Gaza? How wide and long it is? What are the measurements? How can you know?
The Gaza Strip is a small territorial enclave located on the eastern coast of the Mediterranean Sea. It is approximately 41 kilometers, 25 miles long, and varies in width from 6 to 12 kilometers, 3. 7
So
7.55 square kilometers, 141 square miles. It's worth noting.
44
So indeed,
kilometers
we've covered
long,
quite
and
a range
how
of topics
much?
today.
What is the width?
Earlier, the Gaza Strip is approximately 41 kilometers, 25 miles long, not 44 kilometers. The width of the Gaza Strip varies, ranging from 6 to 12 kilometers, 3. 7 to 7.5 miles. Thank you for catching that mistake. If you have any more questions or if there's anything else you'd like to discuss, feel free to let me know. You're welcome. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate.
Yes, in 41 kilometers long and 6 kilometers that you said that it is wide, and 2 million people are living in there.
Yes, it's true that the Gaza Strip, with its length of approximately 41 kilometers and width ranging from 6 to 12 kilometers, is home to a population of around 2 million people. The high population density in this relatively small area presents unique challenges for the people living there. The well-being and livelihoods of the population are important factors to consider when discussing the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and seeking peaceful resolutions. If you have any more questions or if there's anything else you'd like to
What is
discuss,
the employment rate there? What is the employment rate?
feel free to let me. The employment rate in the Gaza Strip can vary over time and is influenced by various factors, including political and economic conditions. As of 2021, the unemployment rate in Gaza is estimated to be around 45%, which is quite high. This high unemployment rate it's important to note that these figures.
What is the GDP of?
I'll reply in a second. The GDP, gross domestic product, of the Gaza Strip is difficult to measure precisely due to the unique political economics.
Yes.
The estimated GDP per capita in Gaza was around 13 in 2019. It's important to note that economic conditions in Gaza are challenging, with limited access to resources, trade restrictions, and a high unemployment rate. These factors impact the overall economic development and well-being of the population. If you have any more questions or if there's anything else you'd like to discuss, feel free to let me know.
And you say, I couldn't Gaza, which can be calculated, or there is no production in the, revenue generation done in Gaza.
You're correct that the economic conditions in Gaza present significant challenges, including limited access to resources and trade restrictions. These factors can hinder revenue generation and economic growth in the region. There are various sectors that contribute to the local economy, including agriculture, manufacturing, services, and some international aid and assistance programs. Additionally, there is a significant informal economy that plays a role in generating income for many individuals. It's important to note that the overall economic situation in Gaza is complex, influenced by multiple factors, and subject to fluctuations. Efforts are being made to improve economic conditions and create sustainable development opportunities for the population.
Okay, thank you. That is it. That was enough. Thank you, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you. Thank you, guys. This was
You're very
Luna,
welcome.
who was talking about the Palestinian, turmoil, and we learned that it's a 41 kilometer long and 6 to 12 kilometers wide area, the Gaza, and there are about 2 million people living there with 45% of unemployment. And
You're, wel-
and what else? What else did you tell me?
you're welcome. I'm glad I could provide you with information about the Gaza Strip and its population.
The last